Good morning to Dr. Kamaruddin and my fellow friends. Myself is Nityanandan Jaishankar. My metric number is 272410. So today I would like to present for a topic on automotive industry in Malaysia for subject inventory management. So this the title about is automotive industry in Malaysia. Automotive industry. Okay, let's before we start to talk about the overview of the industry in Malaysia, so let's we speak about the industry of automotive in the world. So automotive industry world in the world comprise a wide range of companies and organizations involved in the design, develop, manufacturing, marketing, selling of motor vehicles. So actually it is one of the world's largest industry by revenue, because every yearly this industry get back or the profit is very high. That's why it's very world largest industry. So let's we see about the overview of the industry in Malaysia. So the automotive industry in Malaysia consists of 27 vehicle producer and over 640 component manufacturer. So next is third largest in South Asia and therefore the 23rd largest within the world. So automotive industry in Malaysia traced its origin back to the British colonial era. In 1983, the government became directly involved within the automotive industry through the establishment of National Auto Company Proton, followed by Perdua in 1993. So for the Malaysia, first of the company which is known as a national company is Proton, and then followed by Perdua. So actually automotive industry in Malaysia primarily serve domestic demand, and only several thousand complete build-up CBU vehicle are exported annually. So actually CBU and CKD, these two code word got difference. CBU means the complete build-up on Malaysia, the local, the CKD for import cars, recon cars, like that. So next we see about the main players. So actually main players, there are several companies in Malaysia to produce automotive in the automotive industry also. So the automotive industry, one of the most important industry in the manufacturing sector in Malaysia. So other concentrating and other assembling ventures, the car business, and then they promising one of the contribute boosting advancing monetary industrialization measure which drive Malaysia to change to create a country within reasonable time frame. So they are four big company. One is Proton, the Perusahaan Automobile Nasional Berhad, and then second is Perdua, Perusahaan Automobile Kedua Nasional. But in the time of the period, the Perdua share are bought by Toyota. And then next is Industry Automotive Commission, Inocom. Inocom, it's like a car, like a China car. And then Malaysia Truck and Bus MTB. So beside nine constructing agents settled down in Malaysia, among them there are NASA Automotive Manufacturing Sedia Berhad. Under NASA, there were several global brands. They are like BMW, Land Rover, Mercedes-Benz, Peugeot, Renault, Scania, and then European brands, and then Nissan, and then other than that, there are locally built company also in Malaysia, something like Toyota, and then Nissan, and then Mitsubishi. For the for the for the NASA automotive manufacturing is they are most of the cars are from not NASA automotive manufacturing center is most of CKD, but the CBU are built on Malaysia. So working through the neighborhood manufacturing and then assembly plant in Malaysia to certify the nearby substance pre-quistes. So these are the local brands, and then the CBU cars they are built. The first is Perdua Beza, Proton Saga, Perdua Harus, Proton Persona, Axia, Honda City, Toyota Vios, X70, and then this one is Honda HRV. This one is the very important part in this one. Industrial challenges on automotive industry in Malaysia. rise of car sharing. So let me tell one new story. So rise of car sharing. Why rise of car sharing? Because people are to how to save their time and the cost. They are doing a car sharing. So they are going to some place. They will rent a car, and then they are going to something like festival event to their house at Terengganu or Johor. They will rent a car. So something like example on they are back to their home on Hari Raya. Some of them they never use their own car, or they don't have their own car. They will rent the car. So this rise of car sharing is very impact for automotive industry. It's very impact. That's why automotive industry they are doing a great ideas to develop how to reduce this rise of car sharing. Next we see about the smart connected and self-driving vehicle. So this one, from a small car to a big car, this system are built. So actually all of the people telling, hey, this car doesn't have the smart connected driving and self-driving vehicle, but the car have the smart vehicle system. Most of them don't know. So something like if we take the example for Myvi, Predwa Myvi, the new Myvi. So if you take, they will have one system here. It will scan the lane and then it will show, like if we out of the lane, it will pre-alert our to it will show that we are out of the lane. So it's a very good system. It's a smart connected and self-driving vehicle. So these are the technologies. These are very high prices, and then this type of technology are bringing the consumer to boring. So that's why the automotive industry, they are very good in technology and they sustain on this economic, but they are doing a great way to build the technology. Not like Tesla. Tesla is 100% can do a self-driving autopilot. Next we see about the electric vehicle. Electric vehicle is the most of the hardest industrial challenge for automotive, because electric vehicles, they're saying electric vehicles is a future vehicles, but it's a good answer to save the petrol and then to save the environment, to save from pollution. But the technology to build an electric car is very high than to build a diesel or petrol car. So this is the most industrial challenge which is challenged by the automotive industry. So they're thinking like people are commenting like electric car. It's a very good technology. So the company can make an electric vehicle, but the company know how would they will put the capital to make a electric vehicle, and then they have to promote it, and then they sell it to a customer. This will this will put into a big range of costs. So these are the biggest industrial challenges for the automotive industry in Malaysia. So Malaysia also got electric vehicle, but most of them like the petrol and diesel vehicle, because electric vehicle got their disadvantages. So something like we people are commenting like electric vehicle is very good, overcome pollution, something like that. But petrol vehicle and diesel vehicle will reduce the challenges. Next will be industrial management practice, will be presented by my friend.
Hi, my name is Nurina Pravinte Azmi. I will continue the presentation with inventory management strategy. In automobile production, it involves two types of companies, which is parts manufacturers and vehicles assembling. To focus on marketing and selling their automobiles, automakers have to outsource more and more components to part manufacturers. As known, just-in-time system activities of various firms are mainly focused on large companies. Automotive firms are always looking for new methods to optimize their operating using various industrial technologies. Just-in-time is one of the most often used approach in industry for establishing standards. However, just-in-time must be evaluated in industry in order to improve standards, quality, working conditions, work system, and inventories. Simply defined, just-in-time is a business strategy that focuses on saving time and money while eliminating poor quality in the production and non-manufacturing processes. Next, I will continue with production and inventory strategy. Supply chain management has brought various advantages for organization strategies to increase their competitiveness in today's global market. Inventory control is an important part of a company's supply chain network in order to increase efficiency. The supply chains involve all action, processes, and facilities involved in the flow and transformation of services and goods from the material stage to the end user, whether directly or indirectly. From the figure in the slide, we will see that the structure of the supply chain consists of physical components, operational and planning process, and strategy. The automotive supply chain is quite complicated, and it is made up of several operations that, when connected together, constitutes a supply chain that runs from the client to the many levels of suppliers. Now I will continue present about collaboration program. The collaboration is involved the strategic decision concerning the management of R&D collaboration. On average, R&D collaboration with allied firms result in innovations that are similar to those in the focal firm's portfolio. In the figure at the slide is the case of a car breakdown. Suppliers create goods in collaboration with OEM while also being engaged in other B2C or B2B business-to-business industry. They may be interested in using the components or technology they are producing as a platform to enhance sales in areas other than the automobile sector in some situations. At this place, collaboration with other professionals that deal closely with consumers, such as marketing and sales, is generally limited, and time to devote to the value-related tasks is regarded strict. This method that incorporates more qualitative measures alongside technical requirements in order to provide designers with a better understanding and awareness of the impact of their design decisions on the overall system, as well as the value for various stakeholders and in future scenarios. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhasimah binti Azizan, membership number 270894. Raw materials are material purchased from external suppliers but have not yet undergone any transformation process in the organization. Work in process is a component or raw material that has been transformed but has not yet become a finished item. Next, the maintenance material is the necessary supply to ensure the machine and work process are productive. The finished product is the final product stock that can be sold or awaits distribution to meet consumer demand. For continuous control system, the inventory level is constantly monitored and order will be placed when the inventory level reaches a level called the reorder point. The inventory level periodic control system is reviewed at certain intervals, such as the beginning of each day, month, and weeks. The main purpose of an inventory control system is to handle the quantity of stock at an optimal level according to certain criteria such as profitability. Among the inventory control tools or method is the ABC classification system, which is the control of various types of inventory items, from the very cheap to the very expensive. After that, it will be divided into Class A, Class B, and Class C. Next, the autonomy order quantity and reorder point, which is the approach to determine the optimal order quantity that minimizes the total cost varies according to the order size. In addition, this system method is just in time. This system is practiced in Japan to increase productivity as well as reduce production costs. The system wants suppliers to deliver supplies on time with inventory size as minimal as possible. Inventory control just in time can be detected in the automotive industry, that is Toyota, where is used Kanban. Kanban is known for timely management. Kanban is communication device a fixed to a given number and item on a production line. That's direct delivery in a given quantity. Once the part has been used, the Kanban will be returned to the original and it becomes an instruction to produce more. Through this system, Toyota can make vehicles by following the customer request schedule. Okay, I continue the presentation. Vendor managed inventory is defined as a set of planning and fulfillment procedure is which the supplier is in charge of monitoring and refilling customer inventory at the proper time. Currently, VMI is being implemented in various industries with various types of product, accessories and raw materials. Other than that, a case study conducted by Kaurima and Samaros and Holmstrom proved that VMI is also implemented in the automotive industry, chemicals, wood and furniture, packaging industry, and finally mission service. Inventory location refers to the physical location of inventory that is managed by the vendor. The placement of inventory can be found at the suppliers and the customer location. The vendor refers to the inventory in this case at every point of consumption, including the retailer, the production line, and a machine. However, the provider will see an increase in workload in the future, so the supplier can deliver to a customer central warehouse. This method will allow for the optimization of product or raw materials delivery from many vendors to factory, retailers, building sites, or other consumption place. This is because the lower the safety stock level, the cheaper the overall overhead cost, the cheaper the transportation cost, and the better the prospect of achieving economy of scale. Malaysia provides several chains for global automobile and component manufacture to establish production and distribution facility. This can be seen when global automobile business such as Toyota, Honda, Nissan, BMW, and Peugeot, and international component manufacturers such as DP, Continental, Denso, and Bosch have been drawn to Malaysia in order to launch their product. However, the Malaysian government should limit foreign product interest to guarantee that local automotive performance can compete in both the domestic and international markets. Sourcing is the process of locating a supplier of product and service because a company's success is primarily dependent on finding the fitness supplier. It is the first step to a company take before making its first sale. MBM Resources Berhad is subsidiary of Daihatsu. Is involved in the manufacture, supply and assembly of many parts for commercial and passenger vehicle and has played a key role in the company's evolution into the complete automotive group. The goal of continued investment in automotive part manufacturing companies is to capitalize on the unmet needs of the Malaysian automotive manufacturing sector. As a result, MBM Resources have focused on three major areas, which is air, wind, safety, restraint product and noise, vibration and harshness product. For example, Herotako Holding Berhad, a significant provider of automobile safety guard goods in Malaysia, including stick beats, airbag system, and steering wheels. Next, Oriental Metal Industry Sdn Berhad is also a well-known steel wheel and value-add component and product producer in Malaysia, as well as a temporary tire installation service provider. Next, Taxi Plastic Sdn Berhad is the next company on the list. Plastic components are supplied to international corporations, notably those in the automobile sector. Lastly, Autoliv Herotoko Sdn Berhad is a key supplier of safety retention system in Malaysia, offering a wide selection of high-quality seat belts, airbags, and steering wheels to all Malaysian automakers. Inventory ownership. Inventory ownership is the relationship between who owns the inventory and when the invoice is sent to the customer. Owning inventory entails that the corporation is responsible for capital expenditure, obsolescence expenses, and inventory price fluctuations. When it comes to transferring inventory ownership, there are several options. First, the supplier can own the inventory at the customer location and bill the customer where the inventory is being withdrawn from storage, increasing the supplier inventory investment. The supplier may desire to own the inventory for a variety of reasons, including increasing sale of the manufactured other item by introducing a new items to the market and placing unique goods in their retailer main selection. Another option was to hold the customer responsible for inventory ownership and issue invoice when the good was delivered to the customer. Payment from the customer to the supplier, on the other hand, was only paid when the client retrieved the inventory from storage and the payment was pending based on the payment arrangement. This option Automation may put clients in the charge of the inventory risk, such as the cost of storage, obsolescence handling, and monitoring these acquired things. In 2019, local vendor Proton Holding Berhad entered into a partnership with vendor from China. This supplier will also supply spare part to Proton manufacturing plant in Tanjung Malim. So, when working with overseas partner, local supplier will have the opportunity to achieve standard in terms of technological advancement and quality in the short term. That's all from me. Thank you.
Greetings to Dr. Kamarudin and my fellow friends. Today I'm Vinotira Naidu 272498 from Group 1, which is Automotive. Today I'm going to be explaining about Section 2 Inventory Management Practices, which is 2.2.2 Information Relay Dimension. The manufacturing automotive and its ramifications in relations to the strategic and operational issues can be appreciated only if the forces driving the system towards the automation and their automotive and their interrelationships are understood, whether the automated technology is in a rigid or hard automotive or flexible, whether the control of the architect for the system is iterative, passive, or intelligent, where the system is called under the direct evaluation of the corresponding system, which are mostly important to be considered. Based on the information age today, people are more focused on the access of the effective use of the information. Thus, computer literacy programs must be completed for parallel efforts in promoting the information to be taught from the automotive and the relevant information skills to be known. So I will be continuing with 2.2.21, which is demand visibility. Demand visibility is in order to know the impact of the business objectives that we need to find the ways and that is significant to the SC supply chain or the demands of the supply spectrum. On the demand side, there has been a tremendous increase in competition product, while there's been a product life cycle getting shorter and shorter, and customer taste finds it challenging and is changing all of the leads of high volatility in demands of automotive. It is also difficult to predict customer preferences and trends, and it's even more challenging to identify the relevant demand that is accurate and timely based on the to find the automotive. So then the complexity of the automotive industry or the supply chains and the demand volatility makes accurate forecasting of demand and supply which is a very difficult and a costly problem. From this, demand is unreliable and supply forecast is also result in excess or more inventory. So the inventory managers tend to overreact to demand because due to the variation and lack of the demand visibility, resulting in too much of inventory or excess inventory, which is quite costly considering the high cost of depleting or doing automotive product. Malaysians automotive industry has to emphasize on adopting the industry relation 4.0 to innovate and remain competitive. So the automation and the robotic industry in Malaysia have been implemented since 1983 with the establishment of Proton as the national car company. So as we can see here, the idea of the 4.0 in Malaysia is mostly which has been influenced by the foreign companies such as the Kuka robot and automation, which is Kuka, and ABB robot automation, ABB. As you can see from the pictures on my slide, there is a Kuka robot and an ABB robot that is representing. An ABB robot is from Zurich, Switzerland, and a Kuka robot automation is from Germany. So next, I will continue with 2.2.2.2 access to information. Okay, the access and information that used by the automotive company usually is EDI, which is across automotive for nearly 40 years, which is run smoothly running on today's car production line relies on the seamless exchange of business documents between the car and manufacturer and their supply chain. Many of these business processes are used in manufacturing of today's cars that were developed from a production system that is being used by Toyota in Japan. As you can see in the picture below, this is how used from the first tire by Germany and then followed by the different countries. Next, I'll be talking. Next, my point will be 2.2.2.3, which is IT configuration. The integration has shown that the consolidation of business and activity can increase the efficiency and effectiveness of activities within the business, but also in net with greater dependence and lower organizational flexibility. The discussion of the use of IT in supply chain management is where the development between the organizations and the information that is shared or a process that is organizational boundaries. Armstrong and Egel has argued that initially the evaluation of this supply chain as was among the online business, online business where the growing development of information technology has become a priority for every how is for every highly properties every popular operation in the industry named through the world, which is World Wide Web, which is known as www. As you see, most of the in the internet, we can see is whenever you type is www.plus.um.com, for example. So this concept of supply chain design is used in for the automotive, which is very effective, and the complexity of the SCM has forced the companies to use online communication system. For example, the internet can enhance perfection in communication through greater initiative between suppliers and customers, communication between the suppliers and customers. In other words, IT can reduce the transaction financing between the buyers or suppliers that is established as one more cooperative relationship and keeps the buyers and suppliers closer. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Outsourcing specialized in buying has gotten a lot of attention in recent times. This situation is usually concentrated in the automotive sector. Automotive production involves the handling of part materials as well as outsourcing. To handle materials involve unlimited labor-intensive activities that may not necessarily be a key element of a function in production company. Outsourcing may be an option to consider. The possibility of outsourcing selection requires specific handling, including from suppliers, location, activities, and service provision. In fact, the automotive industry in Malaysia has had a huge impact of the economic infrastructure, especially in the industrial sector. It has also become part of the Malaysian economic sector. The automotive industry has a wide range of the industrial activities related to material suppliers, production as well as other vehicle-related operations. In order to maintain performance, companies must think of a way to keep it at a good level. The focus on augmenting and evaluating a company's performance should be evaluated by the entity effectiveness in measuring the overall performance of the supply chain. The ability of accountants to also manage and provide useful and easy to understand information related to cost and performance measurement for any organization. Therefore, the importance of the role in the management of accountants play a very important role in providing the information needed to facilitate supply chain sharing. Statistical Process Control (SPC) is a tool to increase industrial production. The founder of this tool is for control chart as well as the concept of statistical control condition with various studies that have been carefully planned. In automotive, there are also very large manufacturing differences. However, the engineer in manufacturing always strives to maintain the process. In fact, there are various ways to interpret the process to get good and more controlled results and not affect the process. In order to achieve efficiency in automotive, optimal productivity and quality in every employee of the company must be committed to using methods that can make an impact. SPC can be used for all work done. However, initially it was used only for production process. but has now evolved to level where it has been applied in whatever circumstance allow data to be collected. With increasing concern for the environment, more and more companies around the world are constantly on the supply chain from their own shareholder, and the logistics system is a very large system endangered in the environment. Efficient transportation and distribution strategies in the use of intelligent logistics system. Shipping consideration is an initiative in logistics service. The main mission in consolidation shipping involves the reduction of shipping costs because it is in economies of scale in terms of transportation. The implementation of vendor managed inventory (VMI) in Malaysia in the manufacturing sector can be seen as the solution to reduce rising operations costs, as well as low performance in customer service. There are several factors that contribute to VMI, and some effort need to be made to determine the contribution in VMI. Although studies on VMI are rarely performed and discussed, they have been covered quite extensively.
Hi doctor, I'm Durga Ramakrishnan and my metric number is 271892. First, I would like to explain about pros. The first point for the pros is less warehouse space is required. The explanation is you don't need as much warehouse or storage space to store goods if you have a faster stock turnaround. This lowers the amount of storage your small business needs to rent or buy, freezing up funds for other uses. Second point for the pros is reduce waste. Faster stock turnover reduces waste by preventing commodities from becoming damaged or obsolete while in storage. This saves money by avoiding the purchase of superfluous items and decreasing the need to replace outdated inventory. Third point for the pros is require a smaller investment. Inventory management is perfect for small business that don't have the fund to buy large quantity for merchandise all at once. Maintaining a good cash flow in the automobile sector can be as simple as ordering items as needed. Fourth point for the pros is maintain a flexible workforce. In the automobile business, it means automotive industry, inventory management has the extra benefit of allowing you to keep a flexible workforce. Workforce who are trained in the other aspect of the manufacturing process rather than just maintain the logistic of warehouse. Breasting the seams can be moved to where they are most required. And the last pros of inventory management in automotive is synchronous production schedules with demand. Okay, what I mean in this point is in the automotive industry, inventory management allows you to synchronize production schedules with demand. In other words, you can probably cut down on the number of worker hours and labor costs associated with full-time management of an overstock warehouse. There is no need to pay employees to watch and manage merchandise in there is none in a warehouse until you need it. Next, I would like move on to cons of inventory management in automotive industry. First point is supply shocks. In this point, I would like to explain about in the automotive industry, inventory management leaves manufacturer vulnerable to supply distributions. Inventory management can be hampered by both supply and demand shock. The inability to meet current demand might be caused by a large demand shock or supply shock. Second is price shocks. Price for parts used in the manufacturing process are considered to remain constant in inventory management. Price shocks can have a significant impact on a company profit margin. For the third point is more complex than you think. Okay, for this point, I would like to explain about inventory management is incredibly difficult to implement since it requires manage to reimagine the entire business workflow. Everything must be rethought and redesigned from the transportation of raw material through the delivery of the finished product. Multiple business up and down the supply chain are involved this action, and you may asking them to change their producer with a little notice. Small firms may find it difficult to deal with the logistic challenges which may necessitate breaking up large order over a longer period of the time or even across multiple smaller producers. Next, I would like to explain about fifth point, that is more work involved. Okay, taking care of your own stock necessitates a greater amount of effort on your side. You will need not just the room, but you will also need to keep track of how much you will need in future and maintain complete control over delivery. The beautiful thing about owning an online company is that you can do it from anywhere. However, this is not really variable if you are also a handle order delivery. And last point for the cons is have to pay insurance. It's probably not something you have considered yet. It's on of a life unpleasant relative in automotive industry. You will have to pay higher insurance costs if you keep all your merchandise at your headquarters. You are putting your merchandise at the dangers of loss, thief, or even fire or water damage. In this happens, you will lose sales and even devoted consumers. And specialized and next I would like to move with recommendation. Okay, first recommendation is under the ABC investigation, the administration should have more control on C things than that on A and B things, because C class comprise a greater amount of higher qualities. There ought not be tight control practice on stock level to avoid degradation. This is done through keeping up and low security stock levels. Chiles mine and plans and order frequently in inventory to stay away from over speculation working capital. Second recommendation is the previous information shows explanation in the stock. The organization is expecting more inventory for the future time frame. The administration is needed to keep up a similar pattern in the approach year 2. Next recommendation is the organization needs to have the expert information, that is SAP information, ideal reference, so as there are no unparalleled sets and excess of the undesirable purchasing of similar season of material part. Next is the stock turnover. Proportion shows whether interest in stock is inside legitimate point. It likewise measures how rapidly stock is sold. It requires keeping a higher turnover proportion than lower proportion. A higher turnover ratio implies that great stock administration and ideal the inventory are being renewed. Additionally, reflect efficient business exercise. And the last recommendation for this inventory management in industry automotive is the administration of the plant out to fuse TQM, absolutely quality administration, especially in a department of sedition, to guarantee better deals and decrease the stock of complete items. Now I like to move in conclusion part. In this investigation, a supervised stock administration will definitely be useful in taking care of the issues the organization is facing with regard to stock, and will clear route for dimensioning the genetic speculation or endearing of a cash in stock. Inventory is the actual resources of an organization that can make issue if there is a defensive while underway, and furthermore if it's in excess even after creation. Stock is continually changing as amounts are sold and replenished. Since the stock turnover proportion shows the expanding pattern, there will be more interest for the item in the future periods. In the event that they could approach, execute and follow the stance and methods of stock administration, they can enhance the benefit with the least expenses. From the investigation, it is anticipate the future deals must be accumulated and inventory levels must be kept up. The organization need to occasionally survey the stock to keep away from the creation misfortune. Consequently, it can be comprehended that effective that administration can take the organization higher than even and wasteful inventory management and diplomage the organization. That's all from our group. Thank